guys, welcome to Tanzania Safari Channel, and this is a day in Manyara.
Yes.
Where are we today, Teresa?
Today we are at the Tanzanite experience, where we are going to uncover beautiful stories of the Tanzanian rare gem, Tanzanite, which is only found in Tanzania. My name is Teresa Mbulumi.
And I'm Teddy Mfaranyanga, so let's go and see what this experience has.
Come.
We were warmly welcomed by Everest, who was our guide for the day. And he led us to the room where every visitor who comes here can watch a short documentary about the history of Tanzanite.
At the foothills of majestic Kilimanjaro lies a small Maasai village called Manyara. This is the only place in the world where the precious gemstone known as Tanzanite is found. Being in the Maasai land, the Maasai tribesmen who did not know much about Tanzanite preciousness or rarity, they use it.
So the 5 images you see on this wall is a summary of what you have seen in the documentary to make sure you blend in the information from what you have seen in the documentary on the history of Tanzanite. So from the first image that is written at the beginning, we trace the formation of Tanzanite to ever happen when we had the earth tectonic plates movement, volcanic eruptions, but also formation of physical features such as the majestic Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Meru, and the Great Rift Valley. So I believe even when you are taking your road up the hill, Lake Manyara is seen on the valley side. So that's the part of the Rift Valley that crosses the eastern part of Africa. And so we didn't know we had a precious gemstone until it was 1967, when a local tribe man called Juman Ngoma stumbled across this shimmering crystal in the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro. And it was taken to our National Geological Laboratory in Dodoma, and they confirmed it to be a crystal from the blue zoyosite family. And for the first time in 1968, the famous Tiffany's and Company of New York also had an information about a brand new gemstone being discovered in the East African coast. So they also took it to their laboratory and they confirmed it to be a crystal from the blue zoyosite family, and they named it Tanzanite, combining two words, Tanzani coming from our country name, and the TE on the last name of the Tanzanite comes from the geological name, zoyosite, meaning a Tanzanian zoyosite. Yes. In 2002, Tanzanite was added in the list of the December birthstones. Earlier then it was the blue topaz, but then the precious one now is Tanzanite, so a beautiful gift for the December babies. Yes. And so in 2015 is when the Tanzanite experience was incorporated. Yes, so that was the brief history of Tanzanite. As we move further, this side, as you see, those are the gears that the miners wear. The Tanzanite experience is dedicated in practicing the ethical mining techniques. And so everyone who goes within the mines, they wear the protective gears, the helmets, the overall, the boots, and this is because of the safety moving underground.
We suited up like how the actual miners normally do and went inside the replica of a mine where Tanzanite is mined. Fascinating, huh? We look cool, right?
So what you see is quite almost the real thing. And currently we are mining over 1,000 meters under the sea level. Earlier then, like 3-4 years ago, we were around 800 meters, but now it's almost a kilometer underneath the Earth's surface. So down there is a little bit less supply of air, so we have the ventilating tubes to make sure we push in the fresh air, oxygen, to help the miners breathe when they are walking through the mines. So what we see in front of you here, this is a worked out solution. Normally, a good operating mine is attracting other miners too. So someone else will want to break into your pathway after they have known that you are having something good or precious, you are about to get the big product. So they break into your shaft under the ground. So when someone breaks into your shaft, in Kiswahili we call him tobozano. Yes, you seal that place with heavy metal rods and concrete and make sure no one crosses that side, and you put security there. So as we move further, what you see in front of us right here, on our daily basis, our geologists, they maintain exploring and locating. And what they explore and locate is the concentrated areas. They are normally indicated with the lines or the veins like the one you see here. They are called the Boudin veins. It's an origin name from French, Buddha, that means sausage, because of the way the folds appear in reddish brown folded colors like sausages. That's a real image of what it looks like from the real mine.
The veins are naturally there.
Yes, they are natural there. So what the geologists will be doing is to look for the veins. because where the veins are, and mostly on the folded parts, is where we have the concentration of materials. Yes, and from there is where we insert our dynamites, not too far or not too close from the veins so that you don't damage your production. But before that, everyone goes above the ground. As I said earlier, Tanzanite mines are very rocky. It's a big calamity when everything explodes when you are in there. So you won't go back in the mines until you have had a number of explosions according to the number of inserted dynamites. Yes. Now comes the sugar wall. This is where the walls of the mines will be looking like after the explosion. Why do we call it the sugar wall? Because of the way it glitters and yes, the way it appears. And so Tanzanite doesn't come alone. It's accompanied with other minerals too, as I say. So it's accompanied with the quartz. That's the quartz, and everything here is a real one. It comes from the real mines, from what you've seen in the digger. Yes, the spades, and that's the quartz now. The quartz, that's the pyrite or the fool's gold because it looks like gold.
Yeah, it looks like fool's gold.
Yeah, someone will fool you that that's gold, but then it's not. Then you have the graphite. You have the gypsum. We have also, in rare cases, the green garnet. So the green garnet is another precious gem that comes alongside the Tanzanite on the same mines. But then the green garnet is not as rare as Tanzanite because we can also find it in Kenya, in Tsavo Game Reserve, but also in Madagascar. And this is because we share the same rock line formation continentally, the eastern part of Africa. These are the other crystals that comes alongside with Tanzanite if you didn't capture them when you were in the mine. So that's the green garnet, that's the graphite, where you see them, that's the pyrite or the fool's gold, and that's the Tanzanite. But unfortunately, this one is burnt with the explosion. So even if we take it under heat or purify it as much as we cannot get a quality gem from it. So it remains like a souvenir, but it's a real Tanzanite.
Oh.
Yes. This one is a quartz, that's the gypsum, and that's the combination of all the minerals like the way you've seen it from the Boudin. So that's the Boudin vein. Yes, and so other materials that alongside the Tanzanite, so when you take Tanzanite as the precious one and the green garnet, the rest are industrially used, like the gypsum, the quartz, and the graphite. They have other industrial uses. And from here, then the Tanzanite goes to the laboratory, meeting now the gemologist, and from there they have their certification. Just like a baby when you are born, then you are certified by having a birth certificate. So the certification from the Tanzanite experience is going now to give you the details of the colors, concentration, the cut, the clarity, and the carat weight of each piece.
Is it true that the darker the Tanzanite, the higher the price?
Absolutely, because color is the first criteria. And then, yes,
Tanzanite is a rare gem.
of course.
Why is the pricing a bit low compared to other gemstones like diamonds?
Okay, so there is a rule of governing gemstones and their values, but also the market demand, and that gives it the value. So in terms of Tanzanite compared to other gemstones like diamonds, rubies, sapphires, there is three things to be considered. That's the durability or hardness, and then the second one is the beauty, how it looks, but also the rarity. So Tanzanite, in terms of the three mentioned criteria, in terms of its beauty, Tanzanite is unique of its own, very beautiful. And in terms of its rarity, of course, it's rare even than any other gem in the world because it's only mined in Tanzania. And so, what puts a difference between Tanzanite and other gems is the hardness. Tanzanite scores 6.7 up to 7 on its fully maturity, but then other gems like the diamonds, that scores 10 out of 10, the sapphires, the rubies, and the emeralds, they will at least score higher on the hardness, so even their prices will tend to be a little bit higher compared to the Tanzanite. Fourth C is the carat weight. This is simply the way we weigh Tanzanite. So 1 carat is equivalent to 1/5 of a gram, because when you use a gram to a precious thing like precious gem, it's going to be very high or very big in value, because it gives you at least 5 carats to have a gram. It's an approximate.
How does this all benefit the community?
And then from there, as you've seen in the documentary,
Yeah.
we don't end here. I mean, on only selling Tanzanite to the tourists. We also have a project to the Maasai ladies who are around the Merani area. We normally donate our rough stones, those which don't have the biggest qualities. We donate it to them. But then we also train them how to make the wiry jewelries. And from that, we buy this from them. And sometimes we let them sell this. Oh, yes, in our outlets. So we collect them from them after we have trained them. They make these jewelries, and we have the collection in all our outlets, which at this point we have 15 outlets in this part of the tourist attracted areas: Arusha, Zanzibar, Ngorongoro, Manyara, Serengeti. All those places, we have the collection from these Maasai ladies. So everything we make out of the jewelries they make, it's theirs.
Okay.
Support them. Yeah. And
That's great.
yes, and part of that also, the revenues we make from the company yearly,
Yes.
we have some of the percentage donated to the Plaster House.
Yes, yes.
The children with disabilities. It's a hospital or a rehabilitation center for children with disabilities, to help them with their expenses. We have donated them with solar panels to at least reduce the cost of the electricity, but also their cost of living around there, but also their education, and also the doctors and everyone who takes care of them. And even some of the amount, they will use them from their other needs. Yes, from what we have on our revenues.
Okay. So basically, many people know that all Tanzanites are blue, but here we see varieties, yellowish.
But some others are goldish.
Yeah. Why is that?
And we cannot even define what the colors are.
Exactly.
We call them fancy Tanzanite because when you think it's blue and you put it under light, you would see a sparkle of red, you see a sparkle of green. Yes, and this even happens to other gems also, like diamonds. Diamonds are not only the colorless ones. We have the champagne color, an olive green, a pinky, yes, and the ocean blue. Yeah, those are very rare and very, very expensive in the market because they are not found easily. Same way to Tanzanite.
They're also expensive.
Yeah. Now that's the difference.
More than the blue ones.
No. The fancy Tanzanite are reasonably lower in demand because most people will prefer the precious one, the most and the common known, the Bangladesh blue one.
Yes.
So in terms of prices, the fancy Tanzanite are relatively lower, and this is because of the demand in the market compared to the Bangladesh blue ones. And so what gives it what brings the difference is that the color giving element for Tanzanite, as I said earlier, is vanadium and chromium. That gives it the blue and the violet color respectively. So the fancy Tanzanite likes the vanadium and chromium to give them the blue and the violet color. So it tends to be like a little disability. Like in human beings, when you lack the skin pigment color, you look different, an albinism. But then we still all bleed red, we are all humans. Their chemical composition is still Tanzanite, but they look different in terms of their colors because they don't have vanadium and chromium. So they just look different. So we call that fancy because they look fancier. They don't have one color.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, the market value of the garnets is higher compared to a Tanzanite because they're green. Yeah, it's not only hard to find because, no, these ones are found in more than one place. The garnets can be found also in Kenya, but also in Madagascar. What makes it in value a little bit higher compared to Tanzanite is that the garnet scores higher on the durability. Yes, they are almost close to emerald in terms of the hardness. They score 8 and above. Tanzanite is 7, yes.
This is surely a place where elegance and education converge. Tanzanite continues to prove its rarity through its beautiful features and history. Look at that fine jewelry that comes from this precious gem. Gorgeous, huh? Apart from the beautiful experience, there is also a beautiful shop where you can buy souvenirs to take back to friends and family.
So that's a wrap on A Day in Manyara, where we got to dive into the fascinating world of the Tanzanite. My name is Teresa Mbolomi.
And I am Teddy Faranyanga. We had a lovely, lovely day at the Tanzanite experience. It was an informative journey, and I know you have learned as much as we have also. So, till next time. Bye.
Haya ni makubwa sana.
Hello, good people. Kanikamata vizuri.